It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
I'm Alex Rodriguez.
And I'm Jason Kelly.
From Bloomberg, this is The Deal. Each week, you'll hear us in conversation with business icons.
This show will explore deal-making across sports, media, and entertainment.
That is a harsh lesson in business.
Sports is not as simple as bringing a bunch of big names together.
I didn't want to do another stomp you out speech.
It opened up so many more doors.
The show is called The Deal.
Listen to The Deal.
Listen to The Deal on Spotify.
Survivor 46 is here, and so is On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast, and we have a twist this season. The winner of Survivor 45, Dee Valladares, will be joining us every week.
We're going behind the scenes of the biggest moments, the how and the why things happen, and the strategy and analysis you can only get from someone like me, a Survivor winner.
Listen to On Fire, the official Survivor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 392 of Rams Up. I'm going to talk a little bit of draft, some other news and notes. But the big news, the Rams have signed Kevin Dotson, did not let him hit the free agent market. A $48 million deal over 3 years, $16 million a year, $32 million guaranteed. Dotson played like one of the best guards in the league last year, and the Rams have rewarded him. This makes Dotson the Rams' fourth highest paid player behind AD, Matthew Stafford, and Cooper Kupp. And they are reportedly about to tender restricted free agent Alaric Jackson at $3.116 million for the 2024 season. So the Rams getting things done before free agency kicks off next week, basically bringing back 4 of their 5 offensive linemen at this point. Alaric Jackson, Steve Avila, Kevin Dotson, and Rob Havenstein. Got some backups there too. Can they still bring back Coleman Shelton? Maybe that's a position they even think about upgrading. There are some good centers on the market and some solid centers in the draft as well. Or they draft a guard and move Avila to center. A lot of options there. Biggest question for me along that offensive line, aside from how they fill out that 5th spot, is what do they do with Joseph Noteboom? My understanding is they're trying to rework his contract, bring him back on a more cap-friendly contract, or they possibly cut him, maybe a June 1st designation. I'd like to see him come back, but man, Rams are spending some money here on Dotson, and it's going to go faster than you think. If I'm reading the numbers correctly, their effective cap space drops from the low 40s to around $26 million. Remember, we have some work to do in the secondary and at center, possibly linebacker. How much is one of these top-notch edge rushers going to cost? Rams have some tweaking to do as far as the salary cap goes, in my opinion, to get everything done that we hope they get done. Haven't improved this team yet. Keep that in mind, just bringing people back. The 4 key guys that I think they had to bring back: Demarcus Robinson, check. Kevin Dotson, check. Coleman Shelton, I think he's replaceable. Still like to see him come back. And if we can bring back Ahkello Witherspoon, that means we just have a little bit of work to do at the cornerback spot. And then safety, I think the Rams will figure out the safety position. And a field goal kicker, some other spots. Obviously, they have some work to do. So we will be pausing our mock drafts until this initial craze of free agency is behind us. I'm hoping to have Paul Walia on to talk about some of the guys we should be targeting, maybe guys that we haven't really considered. I do, however, have a short discussion at the end of this episode talking about a trade back scenario that may be in the cards for our Los Angeles Rams. But great news, Dotson back, as is Alaric Jackson. That's really no surprise. Rams getting things done before free agency, spending some money though, with a lot of work left to do. Now, another interesting development regarding free agency is the situation at the safety position. The Rams obviously need some safeties. Right now, their group consists of Russ Yeast, Jason Taylor, Quentin Lake, and Tanner Ingle. Not a bad group. I'm not trying to besmirch these guys. Russ Yeast has played well at times. Quentin Lake is a stud, although he's never really been penciled in as a pure safety. Jason Taylor, Tanner Ingle, kind of unknowns at this point. We need reinforcements though, right? We need to add to this group, maybe improve it, add a safety. John Johnson and Jordan Fuller, both unrestricted free agents. And as of a few days ago, it was a really good free agent safety group. The unrestricted free agent group at the safety position included some really good players: Budda Baker, Geno Stone, Eddie Jackson, Xavier McKinney, and a long list: Micah Hyde, Julian Blackman, and 2 ex-Rams, Terrell Burgess and Rodney McLeod. Don't think we're going to be interested in either of them. But then, just in the last few days, the market has been flooded with a bunch of additional very good players, all cut in salary cap moves. Rayshon Jenkins by the Jags, Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs by the Seahawks, Kevin Byard by the Eagles, Jordan Poyer by the Bills, and Justin Simmons by the Broncos. These are some really good players. Now, I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to afford some of these top-notch guys like Cameron Curl, Geno Stone, Quandre Diggs, Justin Simmons, Jordan Poyer, probably top the list. But the saturation of the market is going to help their cause. It's going to drive down the price of some of these other guys, I think. Rams have been pretty good at figuring out the safety position, and this is just going to make it easier. And I would have my eye on Quandre Diggs. He has been a thorn in the Rams' side. The Rams know him very well. He knows the Rams. And would he like to play against the Seahawks twice a year? Maybe. Not sure how low this market is going to go, but I think this really helps the Rams' cause as far as improving that safety group, because it does need some help right now.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
I'm Alex Rodriguez.
And I'm Jason Kelly.
From Bloomberg, this is The Deal. Each week, you'll hear us in conversation with business icons.
This show will explore deal-making across sports, media, and entertainment.
That is a harsh lesson in business.
Sports is not as simple as bringing a bunch of big names together.
I didn't want to do another stomp you out speech.
It opened up so many more doors.
The show is called The Deal.
Listen to The Deal.
Listen to The Deal on Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Hey, before we get to my trade back scenario and a couple other things I wanted to talk about, it is episode 392, so let's real quickly talk about a Ram who wore number 92. Another guy I kind of forgot about, Eugene Sims, pretty good defensive end. The Pro Football Database lists him as a linebacker, but yeah, he was a defensive end, 6'5", 240, came out of West Texas A&M. The Rams drafted him in 2010 with a 6th-round pick, number 189 overall, played in 99 games as a Ram from 2010 through 2016. His entire career as a Ram, 12 sacks. He was released in early 2017 along with Lance Kendricks. About the same time the Rams traded for William Hayes. Remember, they sent Hayes to the Dolphins. He was a really popular player with the Rams. That was about 2 months after Sean McVay was hired by the Rams. Eugene Sims, number 92. Some news and notes. Hey, I got a minor pet peeve, and I don't really like to throw shade on anyone, to be honest with you, but I was in the car the other morning, so I put on Dan Patrick for about 40 minutes. 35, 40 minutes of sports talk, right? All this going on in the NFL. Cap casualties, franchise tags, and a lot going on in the NHL and the NBA as well. Even Major League Baseball got a half-hour discussion about We Are the World in the documentary about it. I left it on just to see how long they were going to continue talking about it. Hey, great discussion, but not on a sports talk show. Rumor has it Michael Hoecht will not be tendered by the Rams, so his career as a LA Ram could be coming to an end. I really expected them to keep him because, if nothing else, he has some versatility. Maybe have him play a more traditional defensive end, but Chris Shula and Sean McVay apparently ready to move on from Michael Hoecht. And 2 other Rams restricted free agents apparently will not be tendered as well. Jonah Williams, the defensive tackle, and Christian Rozeboom, the linebacker. All 3 of these really surprised me. Christian Rozeboom played well, and Jonah Williams, he was a real contributor on a rotational basis. This kind of highlights what the Rams did last year. They rolled with guys like these, Michael Hoecht, Jonah Williams, and Christian Rozeboom, because they really had no choice. Couldn't retain a lot of guys. Greg Gaines, Bobby Wagner, Leonard Floyd, 3 guys that filled positions basically taken over by Jonah Williams, Christian Rozeboom, and Michael Hoecht, right? But Rams are all back in now. They're trying to run it back for Sean McVay's 3rd Super Bowl appearance and potentially a 2nd Super Bowl victory. So moving on from these guys, perhaps. Not convinced they won't be back, perhaps on reduced contracts. I think the Rams recognize they got to improve those position groups. And that's the decision they're making at this time. We'll have to see how it plays out. 1 or 2 or all 3 of these guys could end up coming back, but I'm betting against it. Rams set to make some moves. And why tender guys that are going to be relegated to 2nd, 3rd string, or actually going to have a hard time making the roster? And this is all over the internet, but I thought I'd share it with you. Brendan Donahue of Sharp Football Analysis, apparently one of the most accurate mock drafters. He had the Rams picking the edge rusher out of UCLA, Latu, and I would be okay with that. I still think they need to address edge in free agency, and I do have some minor concerns about Latu's health. He had a significant injury, appears to be 100%, but still a lingering concern. That was a serious injury. But Donahue has the Rams picking Latu. Now, we had a discussion on the last roundtable, Ian, Tom, and I, starting to wonder if the Rams will move back. You know, the sweet spot in this draft at the top end is like 1 through 16. Rams pick number 19. And the chances of one of those guys falling to the Rams, and a non-quarterback preferably, is looking pretty slim at this point. I mean, it's possible someone like Fuagu or Terrion Arnold will slip to 19, but if not, Rams really need to move back. And I looked at possible trade partners in that situation, teams that have an excess of picks in the second, third, or fourth rounds. And I came up with a list of 4. The Giants, they have 2 second-round picks. The Steelers, they have 2 fourth-round picks. And the Packers with 2 third-round picks. And of these, I think the Packers would be the most likely trading partner. The Steelers pick right behind the Rams at number 20. So are they really going to move up one spot? I guess that happens. But McVay having a relationship with that Packers coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, maybe the Rams make a move. And I ran that scenario on the NFL mock draft database, and it was a fair trade, actually slightly in the Packers' favor. The Rams trading number 19 for the Packers' 25th overall pick and picking up the Packers' 88th pick. Now, the Packers also have the 91st pick, so they're just giving up one of those picks late in the third round. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Now, the problem is, if that number 19 pick isn't in the sweet spot for the Rams, no player that you at number 19 that you wouldn't be happy getting at 25, Packers may feel the same way as the Rams. We don't need to move up there. But in this scenario, someone's there that the Packers want. They trade up with the Rams. Rams pick up the 88th pick. And at 25, they're still able to get a guy that I think should be higher on their list, Jackson Powers Johnson, the center/interior offensive lineman. Jackson Powers Johnson, that center guard. Now, I ran this scenario before the Dotson signing. And, if they bring back Shelton, they're not going to draft Powers Johnson. But give you a good idea of what type of player will be available at number 25. And if Coleman Shelton moves on, man, Powers Johnson would really solidify this line. And that's probably closer to where he should be selected. Now, there's a risk that he wouldn't be there, but I think there's a handful of players you'd be happy to get at number 25 that will be there. And in this scenario, I didn't run the full mock draft, but took it to the third round, and the Rams picked up the defensive lineman Braden Fisk, the cornerback Chris Abrams-Drains, a safety Javon Bullard, and a running back Audric Estime. Pretty good haul. I kind of like it. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.